What is this one? Interesting. Test. Okay. Hello everybody, welcome to Bitcoin Daily, 9 a.m. Central European Time on the dollar. We do this show every day, Monday, Friday, because we gotta know what's happening in Bitcoin, altcoins, and everything else. Guys, we have a pump. If it looks like a spring, it walks like a spring, it talks like a spring, it jumps like a spring, it springs like a spring, it's probably a spring. We could say that, it's not a duck, it's a spring. Is it a plane or a moon? I don't know. But it looks like a spring right now. And if it's a spring, and right now we have no reason to believe it's not a spring, it's most likely it is a spring. Now, if it is a spring, that means that, 46K is inevitable. It's coming. The pump is coming, guys. The pump is coming. It looks very good. Now we are still not above, a certain levels, but every time you break resistance, you become a little bit more bullish, right? Because there is no bullishness if you fail to break the resistances. On the other hand, if you keep on breaking resistances, that means that the bullishness is definitely there. Also, we had a big move towards upside up here. This is a 26.9%, almost 27% move from the bottom towards the top in 3 days. Sorry, this is 2-day chart. Day chart 1. Okay, let's go over here. 25.5%. 1, 2, 3, 4 days. In 4 days. Technically, 3 days. In 3 days, we did 23.9%, 24%. In 3 days, 3 days, we did this kind of move. You can also say that we did, in 2 days, 20%. So, there is that. So, big move towards upside. It looks like a spring. It talks like a spring. It walks like a spring. It quacks like a spring. It's probably 100%, very, very close to 100%. 99.9% is it looks like a spring. If this spring continues towards upside, guys, it's gonna be wonderful, wonderful times, because the spring often comes. Like, this is the thing that I've been waiting for. I've been waiting for some kind of spring. I was thinking that this over here was gonna be a spring, but it kind of, it was a little bit, long consolidation phase with a move towards upside, which didn't feel like a spring. But this over here feels like a spring, guys. Springs do tend to, break a whole bunch of stuff, and this spring up here did break a whole bunch of stuff. We also know right now that Jim Cramer just said, that, we should sell our Bitcoin into the rally. Let's see if we can find that. Let's see if we can find the quote from Jim Cramer up here. We don't need to watch this one again. We watched it yesterday. Jim Cramer. You see, he is trending, of course. He is trending. Let's see videos over here. Jim Cramer. There we go. Let's see what Jim Cramer has to say. Let's just turn up the volume so you can hear this better.
And I would sell my Bitcoin right into this rally. And believe me, I had been a believer one time in Bitcoin. Not here, not now.
He's been a believer at one point in Bitcoin. Not here, not right now. You should sell into this pump. He's been wrong before. We call him inverse, inverse Cramer. So every time he says something, we just do the opposite and we make money. That guy is such a shill for, I don't know who, but he is definitely not on the side of the retail investors. I can tell you so much. That said, guys, looks like a spring, talks like spring, walks like a spring. Jim Cramer says we should sell our Bitcoin. CPI numbers coming out the day. There are talks about no hikes at all. There are talks about that the CPI numbers are gonna be very good. That means that we might have some kind of pump. It's important to remember that we yesterday we talked about this guy over here. And we can play it one more time. We can play one more time. I think it starts at 3 minutes and 20 seconds, 25 seconds up here. Guys, if it's a scammer, or if people call somebody a scammer, I'm listening to those people. I don't know why it's that, but oftentimes I have this connection with people that are not 100% in line with common way of thinking. So I do enjoy listening to perspective of people who say the opposite of what everybody else is saying. Oftentimes they might be wrong, and I quickly notice that, both on the body language, both of the explanation and stuff like that. But sometimes it's interesting, sometimes very interesting, the way they are actually thinking. Now listen to this over here again.
Seventh fact is that whenever the Fed did a pivot or cut their interest rate raising spree, the market crashed. Weird. I know, it's just weird as hell. Google it. Google it. Whenever they do a pivot, then everybody just kind of relaxes and thinks everything's going to go great, and that's when all the elites cash out. So the Fed doing a pivot and being more dovish, from here on, the economy is going to be great. It actually does the opposite. The markets crash. Everything's going to crash. So basically, you don't want the Fed to pivot. You don't want the Fed to be less hawkish. What you want is the Fed to raise interest rates so that prices dip and then you buy the dip is what you want to do. Now, is that what's going to happen? So now,
I think it's interesting, I think it's interesting idea. I'm not quite sure that's going to be the case. But I think this is interesting idea that, if we get, because we all knows that the economy and markets are not playing, with each other. We also know that every time we get a euphoria and everybody thinks, this best times of their life, that's when we actually crash. And we also know when there is a huge amount of fear and we think we're going to go lower, we actually turn around like over here and go towards the upside, right? So we know that these indications might actually affect market a little bit differently. So the fact that a Fed pivots and has no rate hikes, the fact that inflation goes down, CPI numbers goes down, and we get some kind of good economy. It just might be the case that right now we are some kind of top and it might actually turn around. Now that might be the case for the stock market, but whether the Bitcoin will outperform stock market and go in the opposite direction, be decouple from the stock market, that's to be seen. I also mentioned the same fact before, yeah. So we're gonna see that. We're gonna see what's gonna happen. We have this theory that when everything crashes, when market crash, and we get this big financial crisis like 2008, even worse than the 1929 depression. Once this happens, the Bitcoin will be the winner of the game, and it will go in the opposite direction of the crash. That's the theory. We don't know if that's the case because everybody is saying, Bitcoin has never been through a major financial crisis. So this is gonna be the first time Bitcoin is actually gonna experience a financial crisis, and it's gonna be interesting to see whether Bitcoin actually comes out of top. Now, before we go on and look at Bitcoin chart and look a little bit about how stock market has been performing, and also we're gonna look at the DXY because DXY might tell us what's gonna happen today. We're gonna check that out. Before we do that, how's everybody doing in the chat? Tire likes first. Roshten Army, sorry man, I had to remove you from the chat because the very first thing you ever do, is just talk crap about Gort. Like when Gort comes in, he talks about stuff, but you are just like picking on Gort every single time, and it just ruins the chat. So man, you asked for it. Like I said this several times, like don't do that, man. Yo, needs to sort out payment details. Tire likes, I do, man. Cryptoras, good morning. Morning, I do, man. Peter Dobrev, good morning. What's up? Kristovan Nikirk, morning gold, meeting CPI will be positive for Bitcoin. Place your bet, guys. So we're gonna look at the forecast, how the forecast is actually sitting down. Andre Silva, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. What's up, Andre Silva? And girls. Chongtown, good morning. The great late adopter. Big crash is coming. Istvan, Edward, too good. What's up, Edward? The Central Plan, what's up? CPI expects 6-0, ladies and gentlemen, and girls. I thought the girls and ladies are the same thing. I think this whole bank was planned so the Fed would have an excuse to pause without losing credibility. These banks were all woke as F, suggesting a connection with the corrupt government. Yeah, this is very interesting, point. And I want you to think about something else. The three banks that failed was Silvergate, Silicon Valley Bank, and Silver something. I know that that third bank also got closed down, and all three banks were crypto related. So this makes me think that what are the chances that three crypto banks fail? It's not like yes, crypto is down a little bit, but crypto banks to fail, all three, nothing else. You gotta think a little bit in those kind of ways. I always say there are no, there are no incidents. There are no if there are too many, then there is no coincidence They're not coincidences. If there are too many coincidences, if there are too many things that are, you know, lining up and all are, you know, not correlated with each other, but together they are correlated, and they all seem to be like, you know, just a coincidence that, you know, just this happened, just that happened. In the world, there is no coincidences. There is always, you know, something greater, you know, that's moving these things in one direction. And I always say, if there are too many coincidences, it's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. One bank fails, that's fine. 3 bank fails, you know, in the same, you know, sector. Something is not right. I won't go into what's not right and stuff like that, but something is not right. And the other one thing I wanted to notice, that the attack on the crypto, because everybody's saying, oh, the government is, you know, regulating crypto, they're banning crypto, they're doing this against crypto, they're putting taxes on crypto mining. The attack is not on crypto. The attack is not on Bitcoin. The attack is not on the blockchain. All the big, you know, companies are using blockchain. All the rich people, you know, own Bitcoin. The attack is not on Bitcoin and crypto, guys. The attack is not on Bitcoin and crypto. The attack is on the retailers, on the masses, to push them away from crypto so they don't get rich. Okay, so the attack is on the people, not on the crypto. They just want to keep crypto separate from the people so people don't get rich. You understand that, right? So they already own Bitcoin, they already own all the assets, they already own all the blockchains. They want, the crypto is gonna be there. They just don't want masses to be inside the crypto when everything crashes, so they, you know, survive. The attack is on the people, not on the crypto. Remember that. Jurgen, yeah, good morning, how you doing, man? Sound works. Yeah, sound works. Where were we? There we go. Stanko, dobro jutro, how you doing? Gianni, hold on, morning, tired legs. I wish it was spring. Yeah, I wish also it was a spring. Yeah, you know, spring coming, you know, with spring, you know, it's gonna be nice. Jimmy indicator always true. Here's to my downfall. How you doing, man? Biden says numbers are really good, so he wouldn't stick his neck out unless he knew. You just like scammers, we get it. Yeah, I do, I actually do. Even Richard Hart, before hacks, when everybody was calling Richard Hart a scammer, and I always tell people, go watch the videos and live streams of Richard Hart, before hacks, before he actually made the hacks, before he started shilling hacks and, you know, became super rich with the hacks, and right now he's gonna be, you know, become extremely rich with Pulse Chain. Go watch his videos back then. That guy, he knew. Admin keys, problem. The, you know, centralization, you know, problem. Anything, everything, you know, that's not what, you know, that's not what crypto was made for. Like, he has such nice, you know, ideas about stuff. You know, watch scammers, guy. I'm telling you, like, you're gonna live better life. I'm not saying, you know, take advice from scammers, in that respect. I'm saying, you know, listen to what they're saying, and then you'll make your mind, you know, in one and other direction, what you think, you know, look what's more, sounds more rational, you know, use your brain. The Fed pivots because they broke something. That's another thing, guys. There is no such thing as, you know, oh, suddenly the economy is crashing. There is no such thing. If there are smart people behind something, they know exactly what they're doing. If me and you can figure out why the economy is crashing, trust me, the guys that they are having, that have, you know, 150 IQ, that are going to Harvard and all the best schools in the world, that have all the possible statistics and data from the world in a financial crisis, have all the access to all the data in financial markets, they know exactly what's going on. Like, it's insane to think that, oh, sorry guys, we thought, you know, if you put up, you know, interest, you know, rates all the way down to zero, nothing would happen, and then, you know, fastly, you know, move it up, you know, nothing would happen. It's insane. Feeling bearish, my bro. How can you feel bearish after the spring? I don't know. I don't get it. Andre Silva, Rastani also mentioned the same thing before. Yeah, Rastani said that, you know, markets and the economy is not correlated. So that's the first time. That's like several years ago I actually heard that, and then you know, that's where my ideas about markets and economy actually comes from. Feeling bearish, my bro. What is Bitcoin money or is Bitcoin a risky asset? That's the question. Well, the way I see it, you cannot kill Bitcoin. I mean, you can ban mining, you can ban, you know, you can regulate it, you can make it, you know, not usable in your country, but it's still around, just like gold. Gold is not going anywhere. Like, you can ban gold, but you know, it still has value. It's controlled demolition on ramps and off ramps to crypto. Yeah, might be that. On off ramps for crypto, it might be. But the attack is on the people, not on the crypto. How is SVB crypto related? Silicon Valley Bank had a lot of exposure to. There are actually very good videos on YouTube about Silicon Valley Bank and crypto investments, because there is a really hard. It's really from what I get, it's really hard for you know, crypto companies to get banks to work with them, because they just don't want to take, you know, do the hassle, you know, because there is a lot of problems with the money laundering and stuff like that, right? So there are only certain banks that you know, are crypto friendly banks, and the 3 banks that right now went down, they are very crypto friendly banks. So no one wants crypto to go away. Also, it's controlled the mission to shut down small banks and consolidate power in big ones. Might be that. Silicon Bank. What I want is to force CBD on the peasant classes. Yeah, eventually, yeah, CBDCs are coming. Like, they're gonna try it. You know, whether they're gonna be successful or not, that depends. That's it, guys. We went through the chat. That's very nice. Right now, we're gonna check out Bitcoin and look at what's happening with DXY. Look at the CPI numbers. We can start with CPI numbers. Over here, let's go and I haven't actually pulled it out, but you know, CPI forecast trading at economics. I think it's trading economics up here. There we are. See, consumer price index up here. US. Doesn't it have a US number? There we go. This one. United States Consumer Price Index (CPI). The annual inflation rate in US likely to reach 6% February. So this is the inflation rate. Inflation rate on Consumer Price Index. Over here, this is the and we're gonna also get core inflation rate. But why they're saying 6? Inflation rate is 6.5. And the last previous was 6.5, right now 6.4. But where is the forecast? It's inflation rate. CPI isn't CPI. This is the CPI, right? Consumer price index. Forecast. February 14th February. Previous 299, consensus 300. So CPI will go up a little bit. Consumer price index. What are we actually looking at? Isn't it the inflation rate that we should be looking at? Yeah, 6 and forecast 6.1. So they're saying that inflation is gonna go down, and I'm a little bit unsure about that. It's pretty big move. It's from 6.4 to 6 and 6.1. It's pretty big move, and the inflation rate actually might be less than 6.4. Now the big question is whether inflation rate is gonna be actually that good. Core inflation rate is the one more important one. I remember one time where we had this inflation rate that was actually good, and everybody was, you know, the price tanked because core inflation rate went down. But over here you see that core inflation rate of previously 5.6. Consensus is a little bit down, 5.5. Forecast is 5.6. So if it goes to 5.7 to something like that, that might actually be bad. 5.7 to something, 5.6, 5.7, that might actually be bad, right? Anything less than 5.6 or 5.6, I think it might be okay, but everything more than that might be actually bad. What is CPI core? I don't know. So that is that. We're gonna see that. Just thinking of it differently. They changed the way they calculate inflation. It's all engineered. Yeah, she Nolan, how you doing, man? Long time no see. Check trading views. It's much easier. There we go. Okay, guys. So Bitcoin, guys. first thing first, when we break resistance levels, we are, that shows bullishness. You break in support levels, you show bearishness. If you have any kind of chart and you want to figure out whether you are bullish or you're bearish, you see in the, how much confidence you are breaking the resistance lines to figure out whether bulls are winning or bears are winning, right? If you are breaking support lines and you fail to get above the resistance line, that means you're bearish. If you're breaking the resistance line and you're holding the support lines, that means you're bullish. So right now we have been, we held the support line. We broke out of this channel towards the upside up here. I mean, I tried to draw the channel a little bit differently up here, something like this over here as well. Maybe something like this up here, and then technically we are still inside, a little bit outside the channel up here. On the very top up here, we are still inside the channel, but we are at the resistance up here somewhere. Depends on how you draw the channel. We are up here. Also, this, rising channel up here towards the upside is very, very nice, and of that we are hitting the resistance up here right now. But we did break a whole bunch of, stops, especially this line up here, right where we got this, dump over here. We blew through the upside. This looks definitely like a spring down that, spring towards the upside. Oftentimes you will have some kind of move up here. These are the springs. Those are springs, and oftentimes this resistance line needs to get broken towards the upside to continue this move towards the upside. So if you look at this move up here, so what we need to do up here is go all the way up to 26k and then break the 26k, right? Because it can go right now all the way up to 26k and get rejected by that, and that would be huge rejection, and then we will drop down to again to 10k or whatever, right? But that's only if we fail right now this resistance up here. It depends whether the resistance, maybe something like this up here. Maybe there is another line up here. There are so many lines on chart. We should probably be looking this on the weekly time frame, but let's go daily time frame. But it does look good over here, and right now, if you look at a 4-hourly time frame, there is not much weakness on the chart. Even if you look at this top up here, it does look like right now it's coming to this, this overextension, trying to break over here, trying to break up here. It looks like it's gonna drop down a little bit up here. That might be the case, but it's still, it's still holding up nicely up here at the top. Let's see up here, the trend up here. Is the trend still intact? Yeah, the trend is still intact, so it might drop down here a little bit. If it goes below this trend down here, there's definitely another line up here or up there that might actually hold on a bigger time frame, because if you look at a bigger time frames up here, it is a very, very fast trend up here that might actually bounce. On the other hand, if it drops down, I mean, it's gonna take a while before we have a big drop. So the CPI numbers are not gonna, they're not gonna wreck the move. I don't think the CPI numbers are gonna, even if you get the worst kind of CPI numbers you can get, it's not like you are sitting down here on the support and you are getting the CPI numbers and then you do this move down here. It's nothing like that, right? We are getting CPI numbers all the way up here, so even if we get the CPI numbers, we can dump down. Bad CPI numbers, we can dump down here, we can dump down here, we can dump down here, but there won't be a major move down. Worst case scenario, 20% down, worst case scenario. But it doesn't feel that bad, guys. It doesn't feel bad. I know the 20% feels bad, but it doesn't feel that bad because we are already down here, right? So if we go down fast, 20% again, it doesn't feel that bad, because it's only bad down here. It's only bad down here, right? Or maybe over here. So let's say only 10% down here, and then we bounce, right? So we're gonna see. We don't want to get back below this line because this was a spring up here. The spring should not go back outside again. So yeah, let's say up here, below these levels up here is bad. Below these levels up here is bad. So if we get some kind of bad numbers and price starts moving against us, we are looking for this support over here to hold right now. But it does look good. Like there is nothing to be said. Also on the weekly time frame, it does look stupidly good, nice over here. We got a higher low up here on the chart. We got a pump up here. We got a high highs up here. We got a channel towards the upside up here very nicely. We're above the 50-10 moving average. We bounced off of the 20 moving average. I think it's just a matter of time before we get above the 200 moving average and before everybody becomes stupidly bullish. That said, could this pull back and create a stupidly big week on the upside and go back down again? It can. I mean, I've seen this stuff happen. It depends. We still have 5 days of the weekly candle, so the weekly candle will play out. But it does look good, and there is not even this option up here. Right now it's coming to some kind of if you look at the small time frames up here, it's not broken. The option is not broken up here. Where is it? somewhere up to give or take, you know, it's still not broken, you know. I think it might be broken over here and pull back a little bit towards downside, because you see this wick up here, tried to extend and it went a little bit up here and then it did another one of these moves towards upside. Right now it's pulling back, so I think that, you know, there is a chance to break on the downside a little bit, but there is also a chance to, you know, continue towards upside. Depends on how bullish you are, right? But these are small time frames. This is one hourly time frame, and you know, when it comes to Bitcoin, big moves, we should be looking at, you know, weekly time frame. The fact that we had this peak on the downside, create a higher low up here, very nice pullback, continuing towards the upside. The trend is broken and everything. Like it just looks so nice. It just looks so nice. So it's in my mind, there is no doubt that the downtrend and the bottom for Bitcoin is in so far. But you know what kind of world we're living in right now. You know what kind of financial situation we are living in. So, you know, any kind of move down to, you know, minus 2,000 can actually get happen there, but it doesn't seem like that's gonna be today. It doesn't seem that that's gonna be today. That's all I'm trying to say. It was a big pump. It might have a big dump over here, and then, you know, I still project that this move up here should continue towards the upside, because it's such a bullish move. It's such a bullish move. And I've been following Crypto Savvy again, of course, because that guy, he just doesn't give up. Even after this spring towards upside, he doesn't give up, right? He's still saying, you know, 25k, we're gonna go down to, you know, 7k, 8k, 10k, whatever, right? And he doesn't change his strategy. He's 100%, you know, on the. Do you follow Elliott wave theory? No, never. He just doesn't change his strategy. Like, you gotta change the strategy. Like, we become bearish when it's time become bearish, you know, it looks bad, but, you know, you're on the support, there is a chance to bounce. But right now we bounced. Like, how can you be bearish? How can you be bearish? The DXY is the most important thing up here, and the problem with DXY, if you look at a weekly time frame, is that we are on some kind of support down here. Now depends when you draw the support. You can draw the support, you know, this looks like a, you know, uptrend up here. That means that, you know, the line should go from over here somewhere up there, over here, give or take. What you're gonna see up here right now, it is that this move up here right now is carrying a little bit towards the upside. It had an explosion up here towards the upside up here. You can see the trend, and the trend broke without any kind of retest, went down to the support. Right now having this, you know, double, you know, support up here on downside. There was some kind of rising wedge up here, so this move, you know, down was expected. And right now it's come down to the support line up here. Will it actually on the CPI numbers or something else bounce and go towards the upside again? Because if it does go towards the upside, the next resistance is, you know, at the top of this line up here, right? Oftentimes, you know, these moves do these kind of, you know, moves up here. So will we see, you know, a rise up here, breakdown, consolidation, and then move towards the resistance line up here? That depends to be seen. But it's important to notice that the breakdown that we are looking down here, on the breakdown that we are looking down here, it did happen. It pulled down. Right now it might be some kind of retest, might pull down more. We'll see if this actually, you know, fakes towards downside. We need to understand that on the weekly time frame there is a support line up here that might actually pump the price towards the upside. So if there is some kind of, you know, bearish news or something like that, and the dollar becomes again, you know, the stable investment and the safe haven for the rich, you might see pump on the DXY, because DXY is right now on some kind of support levels. That said, I don't see again anything bearish with Bitcoin right now. I don't think there is gonna be a, you know, 20% dump down here. I don't think, you know, the things that, you know, I think or not, don't think, you know, that might be a little bit different, but it just doesn't look that weak. The Bitcoin looks good, especially on the weekly time frame. On the weekly time frame, it looks beautiful. Like, if you saw this chart, on anywhere else, like, you would be like, oh man, this looks very, very nice. If you didn't know this is Bitcoin chart and you saw something like this over here, man, you would be like, oh man, this is good. And not only that, you got this support line down here and you're like, oh man, it bounced off the support level. You'll be like, oh, this is so good, right? You would be excited about this chart. If you didn't know this was Bitcoin chart, this was some kind of shitcoin, and you saw, oh, the trend broke, oh, it just had a retest, what it needs to do, or if as soon as it breaks this resistance up, oh, it's gonna explode. You know, it's got a higher highs, it got a, you know, higher lows, higher highs up here. Like, you would be excited about the chart. If you saw this chart, if you did not know this was Bitcoin and you saw this chart somewhere else, you would be excited. You would be like, ooh, this looks good, this looks juicy. Did CS spend all billion yet? CS is just switching from BSUSD to Bitcoin and Ethereum. He's smart. Only down from here. I pulled out a short and a stop limit, but honestly, I think it'll 70 before a pump to the upside. Now, everybody was calling 17k. We came as low down. You had, bears had the chance to buy at 19.5k, below 20k, and they were still calling for 18k and 17k and 16k. And all the bears, we came very, very low down, and everybody was calling for all-time thing. Do you know what this spring did, guys? Do you know what this spring did? Because up here, we created a whole bunch of liquidity down here. So this move down here picked up all of this liquidity and went up. So when everybody is max fear, they picked up liquidity and went up. There is right now liquidity down here, but some of this liquidity will never get picked up. Just like the liquidity down here, between below 3k got never picked up. Some liquidity will never be picked up. But this week on the downside, what did this week on the downside do? Well, there was a whole bunch of liquidity up here. There was a whole bunch of liquidity, that these moves created, right? There was a whole bunch of liquidity right over here that was created with this move. So we went down with week, picked up this liquidity and right back up again, right? You see what we did? You see what price did? Price just picked up liquidity below us. Picked up liquidity and right now is going towards upside. There is no move towards downside. The only reason to go down again, because right now there is no liquidity over here. There is no liquidity over here. The only place there is liquidity is down here. That's the only place there is liquidity right now. If we are talking about liquidity, right? There is no liquidity over here. Sorry, there is no liquidity over here. There is no liquidity over here because right now we had a week down and we picked up. There might be a small liquidity over here, but there is that. But there is no reason to go again down to 18 or 17 or something like that because there is nothing to be picked up here. We picked up most of the things up here, right? If we go down, we're gonna go down between 15 down and 12k down here to pick up this liquidity, but then this move up here will create new liquidity level, and then people will be like, yeah, but we need to go down there and pick up the 6 liquidity. Yeah, we gotta, and then there will be a new liquidity level up here. Oh, we gotta go down there to pick up that liquidity. At one point some liquidity stays again, and right now I think this liquidity down here at below 15k, that's gonna stay without being picked up. But this liquidity got picked up, this liquidity got picked up right now with this weak downside. There is no reason to go down. That's what I'm trying to say. There is no liquidity to pick up before 15k, and pushing down from 25k down to 15k to pick up some imaginary liquidity down there. It's just not gonna happen. CME gap still waiting at 28 and 35. I long after CPI week down. It might be, once the CPI numbers come out, there will be definitely movements both towards upside and downside. We always get the volatility towards upside and downside when CPI numbers come out. So it's gonna be interesting to see whether this time the CPI numbers are gonna push us just into the one direction or other directions. It's gonna be definitely interesting times. The market yesterday closed down a little bit up here on the daily. Sorry, this is weekly time frame. On the daily closed in red. This is S&P 500 closed in red yesterday. Dow Jones closed in red yesterday, and Nasdaq closed in green. Nasdaq closed in green yesterday after the bank run. Can you imagine that Nasdaq closing in green after the bank run? I think Nasdaq is gonna drop down in April, and I'm still saying that because April is the time that the Q1 reports are coming out on all the big firms and big companies, and once these reports coming out, I don't see any way how these reports can be good. Like there are definitely some companies that will do well. Might be oil company, might be some car company, might be something like this or that. I don't know. But most companies will be terrible, and I think the market's already pricing that in. I think market's already pricing that the Q1 reports right now, they're gonna be very, very terrible. But that might also mean pump, because once you're at the bottom and everybody all these quarterly reports come out and they are terrible, and people are like sell, and then what are the smart people doing? They're buying and it goes up, right? And everybody, yeah, but how could it go up? Like it was terrible. It was terrible. So it might be that. I've adjusted some of these channels up here. The expanding musical instruments are still staying, but the channels are a little bit different. On the Nasdaq up here, you'll see that we are still above the expanding musical instrument. On the Dow Jones, it looks like we are falling down a little bit inside that, but you know, this, you know, I think it might be adjusted a little bit up here because we are not using the top up here. So if you use the very top up here at the top, and then we use this bottom down here because it's very nice. It looks like we are on the, you know, we tapped it on the supports. I don't want to say that we went inside the wedge. We are still on the wedge on Dow Jones, so there is that. And the S&P 500 also looks like it is trying to go, you know, inside down there, but you know, maybe up here. Yeah, it does look like maybe it is, you know, breaking. You know, it's still closed above. You know, it wicked. Let's pull it up here. Where we used it? Something like this. It looks maybe like it's already breaking down inside the wedge, but you know, it's so tiny. It's so tiny. It's doing this zigzag pattern up here. So if it does fall down, we'll see that. There's also a very nice trend line over here. You can see it immediately on the chart. So if it fails to get above this trend line over here, and there is also a trend line towards the downside up here. This looks like expanding musical instrument towards downside, so you know, the probability right now is for a bounce towards the upside up here. So it might actually survive. This might actually be very good for the markets. But the DXY is on the bottom down here, and I'm a little bit worried that it can have a big move towards the upside, because hopefully it's gonna break down and go to the next support line over here, and then we'll see what's gonna happen. But I'm a little bit worried that it can have a nice bounce up here on the weekly time frame. So it's gonna take a while. It's gonna take a while. 30k more SK pulled. CPI is probably priced in. There's also PPI. Next week, interest rate decision. Yeah, next week is gonna be interesting as well. Anyways, guys, that's what I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed the Bitcoin daily. There is no more liquidity to be picked up. I think this is the most important part of today's video. There is no more liquidity to be picked up. All the liquidity that was, you know, that they could pick up, they picked up. So right now, the only place they can actually, you know, go is, you know, towards the upside. Where towards the upside? Of course, like Mlana says, 46k. That's where we're going. So there is that. Thanks everybody for stopping by. You know what to do with the you know, Bybit link below. I'm a little bit unsure whether there is going to be a live stream on the CPI numbers today, but if there is, make sure to hit notifications button on. And for you guys in the TF Fans Club, hit notifications button on in the chat on the latest video. Up here, latest videos. Where is this? You see up here, you know, notifications button. Hit that notifications button so you get all notifications on the latest video, not in the chat, but latest videos. Response I get stopped out. I was wrong. Fucking manipulated bullshit. Yeah, exactly. This is often the case. Reasons I get when I stopped out. You know, I was wrong. This, you know, but you know, effing manipulated BS. You know, that's what people are complaining about. No, it's always you. It's always you. You know, one time it can be manipulated, but it's always manipulated. It's probably you. You know what they say. You know, if one girl rejects you, you know, it's the girl. But if all girls rejects you, no, if one girl rejects you, it's the girl, right? It's the girl. But if all girl rejects you, then it's you. Then it's probably you, you know? Okay, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.